I can...
Thank you. Then we'll make sure Senator Kennedy is aware that you just might, it depends, advise the administration to ignore court orders.
Senator,
Let me ask another question. Mr. Geiser, would you agree that it would be unlawful for the president to accept a gift from a foreign state without the consent of Congress? Would you agree that's unlawful? Question.
Senator, as a lawyer, I would always give my...
I'm not asking you for a preamble, just yes or no.
Well, Senator Schiff, it depends on the fact...
Well, let me ask the question again. Would you ever advise the administration that it could disregard an applicable district court opinion or order because you believe the Supreme Court will ultimately overturn it? Yes or no?
I don't want to speculate, but I can't see a...
Mr. Geiser, where is the depends on the facts of Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, which says, no person holding any office shall, without consent of Congress, accept any present from any foreign state? That's the Constitution. Doesn't say, well, it depends, or it might, or may.
Hey folks, Freedom Forge, here, back again with another dose of common sense and constitutional clarity. Today, I want to react to a clip that's been making the rounds. Senator Adam Schiff grilling Department of Justice nominees with a barrage of so-called yes or no questions about court orders and the Constitution. Now, if you haven't seen it, let me break it down because I have some things to say.
The chair, Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to follow up on Senator Kennedy's line of question and ask a similar line of yes or no questions just to put a finer point and make sure that your answers are as definitive as they sounded. So let me start with you, Mr. Edlow. Yes or no, would you ever advise the administration that it could ignore or disregard an applicable district court order because you believe the Supreme Court will ultimately overturn it?
Senator, as I said before,
yes, just a yes or no question.
I don't believe I'll ever be
Senator,
in that position.
But you may not. But just like you answered Senator Kennedy, I want to make sure that you were not misleading anyone. So let me ask the question again. Would you ever advise the administration that it could disregard an applicable district court opinion or order because you believe the Supreme Court will ultimately overturn it? Yes or no?
I don't want to speculate, but I can't see a situation where I would advise to not follow a court order.
So your answer is no, you would never advise them to disregard a district court order, even if you thought the Supreme Court
Again,
would
I don't want to
overturn
speak. I don't want to speak.
I just want you to be precise and answer yes or no.
I can't see a time where I would do that. No.
Okay. Mr. Geiser, yes or no?
Thank you very much, Senator Schiff. I would advise clients to follow court orders.
Even if you believe the Supreme Court would ultimately overturn the district court?
Well, Senator, as far as...
Yes or no?
The answer is the same. The president has said he will follow court orders.
The same answer, yes or no?
Senator, the president has said he will follow...
You were able to answer Senator Kennedy, but I want to make sure that you were not misleading Senator Kennedy. Yes or no, would you ever advise the administration it could ignore a district court order because you believed the Supreme Court would ultimately rule otherwise? Yes or no, would you ever advise them that?
Senator, applicable court orders should be followed.
That's not my question. Yes or no?
Senator, you asked me...
Yes or no, Mr. Geiser? It's a simple question.
Senator?
Mr. Geiser, you were able to answer Senator Kennedy. Are you raising a doubt now about your answers to Senator Kennedy because you can't answer this question?
Senator, I would advise clients to follow applicable court orders.
Is that a yes or no?
I would advise clients to follow applicable...
Is that a yes or no? Let me repeat the question so there's no ambiguity about it. Would you ever advise the administration, you're going to be, if you're confirmed heading the Office of Legal Counsel that helps determine whether actions are lawless or lawful, would you ever advise the administration that it could ignore an applicable district court opinion or order because you believed the Supreme Court would ultimately overturn the order? Yes or no?
Senator, if I'm confirmed to lead the Office of Legal Counsel,
all right.
I would...
You're not answering the question. So I guess the answer is to Senator Kennedy, you just might advise the administration to ignore a district court order. How about you, counsel?
Thank you, Senator Schiff. In my role as director, I am not...
Just asking yes or no.
Well, I would, thank you. I wish to clarify, I'm not, if confirmed, a director, I'm not acting in a legal capacity at all. I'm part of the executive agency, branch, and therefore would not be advising clients on any aspects of that.
Well, would it be appropriate in your view for anyone else among legal counsel to do so?
In general, court orders should be followed and respected. There are situations which I recall back from law school between branches.
I guess you're not able to answer the question either. Counsel, how about you?
Senator Schiff, thank you. I mean, I agree. I don't believe it's appropriate to address this hypothetical. At the Department
Okay,
of Justice,
so you want to revise your answer to Senator Kennedy then? That is, there may be circumstances where you advise the administration to disregard a district court of opinion because you believe the Supreme Court might rule otherwise. Is that your opinion?
as a lawyer, the answer is it depends.
Okay,
What I can-
thank you. Then we'll make sure Senator Kennedy is aware that you just might, it depends, advise the administration to ignore court orders.
Senator, if I
Let me
could
ask another question. Mr. Geiser, would you agree that it would be unlawful for the president to accept a gift from a foreign state without the consent of Congress? Would you agree that's unlawful?
Well, thank you for that question, Senator.
Yes or no?
Whether something is lawful or not, I would always want to look.
I'm just asking you a simple question. Is it unlawful for the president to accept a gift from a foreign state without the consent of Congress? Very simple question.
Senator, as a lawyer, I would always give my.
I'm not asking you for a preamble, just yes or no.
Well, Senator Schiff, it depends on the fact.
Well, Mr. Geiser, where is the depends on the facts of Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, which says, no person holding any office shall, without consent of Congress, accept any present from any foreign state. That's the Constitution. Doesn't say, well, it depends, or it might, or maybe. It says, no person shall do so. Do you find that ambiguous?
Senator,
I thought you were supposed to be the strict constructionists. This is what the Constitution says. Is there an exception for $400 million planes from Gulf emirs?
Senator,
Is there an exception for that?
On behalf of the chair, Senator Schmidt.
Thank you.
So Senator Schiff sits up there, acting like he's got the rule of law on speed dial, and just rapid fires these questions at the nominees. Would you ever tell the administration to ignore a court order if you thought the Supreme Court would overturn it? Yes or no? He keeps hammering away, demanding black and white answers. Now listen, I get it. We want clarity from our officials. But let's be real here. Schiff isn't asking for real answers. He's asking for sound bites. He doesn't want nuance. He wants ammunition for his next press conference. And when these nominees try to answer thoughtfully, because, let's face it, legal questions are rarely as simple as yes or no, he interrupts, cuts them off, and acts like they're hiding something. Let me tell you something, folks. The law is complicated. That's why we have courts. That's why we have appeals. If every legal issue was as simple as yes or no, we wouldn't need lawyers. We just need a magic 8-ball. These nominees are being responsible. When they say, I can't see a situation where I'd advise ignoring a court order, that's honest. And when they say, it depends, that's not evasion. That's reality. There are rare, extraordinary circumstances in our history. Think of Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War, or certain executive actions where there's a genuine constitutional crisis. Should the executive branch always roll over and accept every single district court's opinion, even in those situations? That's not what the founders intended. Now, here's what really gets me. Schiff acts all high and mighty, saying these nominees are evasive, but he doesn't want real answers. He wants to trap them. He's not searching for truth. He's looking for a headline. And notice, he gets frustrated when someone doesn't parrot his script. That's not statesmanship, that's showmanship. And did you catch how he tries to play gotcha by comparing their answers to Senator Kennedy's questions? As if a nominee can't answer one way to one senator and then try to clarify or be more careful with their words to another. That's called being careful and thoughtful, a quality we need more of in Washington, not less. Then Schiff pivots to the Emoluments Clause. He reads the text and demands a yes or no on whether it's unlawful for the president to accept gifts from foreign states without Congress's consent. Again, he wants a simple answer to a complex issue. Let's be honest. There's a reason the courts haven't even fully settled what counts as an emolument. The founders wrote broad language, and our government has spent centuries interpreting it. Does a cup of coffee count? A medal from a foreign dignitary? What about a business transaction? There's a process for this, and it's not as cut and dry as Schiff pretends. And here's the biggest irony. Schiff and his allies love to accuse conservatives of ignoring the rule of law. But when it's politically convenient for them, suddenly everything is nuanced, complicated, or open to interpretation. Remember the border crisis? The COVID mandates? Sanctuary cities? Democrat officials pick and choose which court orders they want to follow all the time, and Schiff says nothing. But if a conservative even hints at complexity, suddenly it's the end of the republic. Give me a break. Listen, folks, I want government officials who respect the law, the courts, and the Constitution. But I also want them to use common sense. I do not want unelected judges dictating national policy with every ruling, and I do not want politicians using Senate hearings to create political gotchas instead of actually vetting nominees. These nominees were right to be careful. They were right to say, it depends. Because sometimes it does depend. That's why we have checks and balances. That's why we have 3 branches of government, not just one. And as for Schiff, he can keep grandstanding. But real patriots know the truth. The Constitution is not a prop. It's a living document, meant to be interpreted with wisdom, courage, and yes, sometimes even a little humility. If you agree, hit that like button. Subscribe for more no-nonsense takes on the news the mainstream media won't give you. And remember, stay vigilant, stay informed, and never let the politicians tell you the world is as simple as yes or no. God bless America,